Like any good artist, I started this project in Procreate. I really wanted my new mascot to be inspired by space, stars, and stuff like that. So I started with an outline of the G7 Himalayan cat and went with sort of a galaxy, space, eclipse themed pet. I started with a rough sketch of the design and then I refined all my shapes until I got the finished product. Next, I took off all of the original pet's factory paint with some acetone and cotton balls. I did hear that you can soak the pet in acetone to get the G7 eye printing off, but I'm going to be adding a bunch of base layers so that won't really be an issue. I ended up using really watery paint layers instead of a dry brushing, but I would like to try that in the future just to see if I like that better than watering down the paint layers. I have to say, it is so boring waiting for those paint layers to dry. I ended up doing 4 layers on the head, 3 layers on the body, and then extra coats on the tail because I wanted that to be pure white and not just a base coat. And I am using acrylic paint for this because that's pretty much the standard nowadays. I tried to really take my time with this because I really want my new mascot to turn out really well, and I think she really did. For her design, I decided to go with an asymmetrical face because that's something I've always really enjoyed rather than a symmetrical design. And the yellow halo around her eye is supposed to represent an eclipse. I've always really liked the look of white eyelashes, so I added those too. And I made her tail sort of an inverted space color, so it's white with black stars rather than like a night sky with white stars. And I've always loved the color purple, so that's sort of the accent color I put on there. I made her left eye sort of a yellowish greenish color because that's also one of my favorite colors currently. And then the right eye I made really dark to match the whole eclipse vibe I was going for. For reference, this is how slowly I meticulously placed each dot and star on the tail, and I used a teeny tiny paintbrush and also a toothpick to get all the stars on there. And I also used this method for the stars all over the body, the freckles, and also the eye shines. And it worked really well. I knew I didn't want to use a paintbrush for the stars, like the little dots, because I knew it wouldn't be circular enough, so I just went and found a toothpick instead. After working on the tail, I did move on to the smaller parts of the colors. I did end up jumping around a lot as other parts of the pet dried. And I think the hardest part was getting around the paw pads since I worked the lightest colors to the darkest colors. I think on my next custom, I'll do it, the regular way, like you paint the base and then paint all the accents on there. This is my first custom in a long time, so I'm not too worried about it turning out perfect. And I am pretty rusty because usually I just use Procreate instead of painting physical items. Littlest Pet Shop have always been my favorite toy, as a kid and even now. I remember every time we went shopping, I would run to the toy aisle and beg my parents to let me get a new Littlest Pet Shop. I remember always feeling the blind bags trying to tell which one was in there. And as a creative kid does, I did customize some of my Littlest Pet Shop, and oh boy, they were something. I remember playing with my mom's old makeup and nail polish all over my Littlest Pet Shop to customize them and just tell stories with them. As I grew up, I did grow away from Littlest Pet Shop. I did enjoy the later generations, but like everyone else, I still preferred the G2. I drifted so far that I ended up giving my Littlest Pet Shops to my younger cousin, but a couple years ago, I ended up taking all of them back with about half of them missing to the void, unfortunately. But I am glad to have all of my Littlest Pet Shops back. When I found out that Basic Fun was bringing G2 back, I was unbelievably ecstatic and began collecting them the second that I could. And each wave of Littlest Pet Shops that come out, I just get more and more excited. I'm especially the ones that just got leaked. They all look so beautiful, and I love that they're also listening to everyone's like critiques of them and trying to improve. I just think that's amazing that a company is actually listening to what people want instead of just doing whatever they want, you know? And I'm really excited for spoilers. Maiden Fives are coming back, and I'm just so excited for them. I really hope I'm able to get the collie because I've actually never had an LPS collie before, and I would just be over the moon to get one. I'm not a huge fan of like buying LPS off of eBay and stuff, so I mostly just collect G7, and I'm okay with that. I love Basic Fun's molds and designs. I think they're all wonderful. Like the axolotl, I really love the design of the axolotl. I think he's adorable. I also really like the panda designs. I literally have all of the pandas and I am just so obsessed with them. I think they're adorable. I also like that they're giving a lot of love to the less used designs and molds of G2. Like the other Scotty mold and I don't know, the chameleon and all of the special mail-in pets that I never had. I really hope that they just end up bringing back one of every single mold, and that would just make me so happy. I need one of every single mold, please. And even if they end up not bringing back one of every mold, I'll still be really grateful because this is like the main thing I've been hyper fixating on for like over a year at this point. I am in love with the new Littlest Pet Shops. I will buy every single one. Basic Fun can just have my money at this point. Anyways, now that my rant is over, we can go back to my custom, my mascot. I ended up just using Mod Podge to seal in the paint, but I used a matte Mod Podge on all over the body and then a glossy Mod Podge on the eyeballs. I know it's not perfectly smooth and I could have got like a spray can of like paint seal or whatever, but it was cheaper to just buy some Mod Podge and paint the layers on that way. Here she is all finished. And her backside. I really love how she turned out, being my first custom in so long. And I really love how our eyeballs turned out too. I love how glossy they are. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a magical day.